Hello and welcome to the Daily Grind here on Latte Firm, Sunday, the 15th of March. Happy Mother's Day to all of our queens out there. I hope you're all well. Hope you've all had a smashing day with your mothers. And if those of you who unfortunately don't have your mothers, my best wishes, of course, to you guys on this day. James, welcome to the show. Majestic Max, Magical Max, Miraculous Max. What a weekend, mate. Can't wait to tuck into all of that with you. But how are you, first of all?
I'm very well, thank you. I'm very well, and I thoroughly enjoyed the game. It was yesterday now. The amount of time that seems to have passed since that's happened. I've watched the goal probably about 100 times by now. But yeah, it's so special. And I even messaged you after the game. We were both there. Um, and there were tears in my eyes. I'm not ashamed to admit there were tears in my eyes during the celebrations for that. And it was a weird feeling. And I think it's just it was just the feeling for me that that was it, that I was there to witness what it was. And also it was the start of something special separately with Max. So we'll get into all of that. But yeah, I don't think I've ever been that emotional in an Arsenal game, and I've not been there for title wins in the past, but that was so special for me.
But can I mean, look, you did text me after the game, and or I had to sort of rush away, and you did admit to me on WhatsApp that it was quite emotional for you, sort of tears at the end. Let's pick up on that. I mean, what was it that sort of brought the emotion in terms of the moment, the player, the sort of just the whole sort of story of the season? Like, just explain that to us a little bit more.
Yeah, as I say, I can't put into words exactly what I felt in that moment. It was a strange sensation, but I think it's also there's for the past few years, I started and have always been such a hugely positive Arsenal fan. I've always seen the positives in everything, and bit by bit, I've been chiseled away a little bit, and I will always remain positive. But I just started to get, and never angry, just more sad when we fell away at the last hurdle. We keep falling away at the last hurdle. And in that moment, it just felt like I've not put any hard work in myself. All the players have done this 5 years of project and keep coming back year after year after year. But it felt like all of that was coming to a head, and it was all worth the time. And yeah, as I say, maybe who knows if that will be the moment, but that's what it felt like for me. And the fact it was him and the way it all unfolded was so special.
Mate, listen, I asked the question because I remember shedding a few tears on a couple of occasions supporting Arsenal over the years, over the decades that I've been supporting this magnificent club. I remember the goal against Leicester City when Mesut Ozil whipped in the free kick and Danny Welbeck scored in the 94th minute that year when we thought we were going to do it. And I remember everyone, you know what I'm like when we score, and my celebrations tend to be a little bit chaotic. But I remember just looking up to the sky, and I just didn't move, and everyone around me was going nuts. And Yem sort of turned to me and was like, "Mate, are you okay? Are you okay?" And I was just bawling, man. Like Welbeck's got, it was emotionally too much. And then the Reece Nelson winner against Bournemouth that day, walking out the stadium, it was more sort of tears of joy. I wouldn't say it was crying. It was just I was so happy. I was so euphoric, like I had just tears running down my cheeks, like watching everyone with the joy. And yeah, man, yesterday was special, and I've got we've got some cracking home games coming up, and I think it could be amazing. Speaking of amazing, CGT Crossley, good evening, firm. What a weekend! Got engaged in the afternoon and watched the boys go 9 clear in
Wow.
the evening up the Arsenal. Congratulations to you and your partner, my friend. Being engaged and watching Arsenal win, that is the stuff of elite weekends. My best wishes to you both for the future. Stay blessed, my man. Robert says, good evening. The league table will make nice viewing for the next month. No Premier League games, James, for 4 weeks. I mean, how different yesterday could have been, how different today could have been as a result, and how different, I guess, the next few weeks could have been, because like Robert says, and so many have talked about, there's no Premier League game now with the Carabao Cup final, the international break. I mean, this could have been a very, very different Sunday.
No, first of all, I got to get this out the way. No Premier League game, which also means for Man United, no games because they don't play any games apart from the Premier League. But yeah, absolutely. And look, as I say, it's not all said and done, but the way things have panned out yesterday is insane. Um, And it does. I think it just puts us in such a positive state for the Carabao final as well. We've got Leverkusen on Tuesday, huge game, but I'm confident we get that job done. And then we go into the Carabao against the Man City team who are wounded. And to be completely truthful with you, this doesn't feel like a wounded treble-winning side, Man City, where you feared them. You absolutely feared that they're gonna take out their anger on you. This feels like a Man City side who are struggling for confidence, and they're flagging, and they're looking at each other thinking, "We can't keep up with Arsenal." So I really I don't previously, I did think whoever won that game might go on to win the league. I don't think that will be the case now, but my goodness, what a statement it would be if we do win that game, and that will really be a statement for us to say, "We're the big guys now. You've been fine, but we're the main guys." And I really hope that happens. So Wembley will be special for you, and I'll be watching it with my family. Very excited.
I can't wait. I can't wait. Just that interview with Rodri at the end of the season before last. Just stick that up in the dressing room and just go out to war on Sunday, Arsenal. Yembele's here, says, evening all. What a spectacular weekend of football. And just, I skimmed past it earlier, but I do want to focus back on Jizzle McDizzle's comment, because this is how many of you might have felt. I was so down yesterday as we approached the 89th minute. Thought we were going to waste another opportunity to put distance between us and City. Then Max Dowman whipped in a cross. Do I dare believe? And Jizzle McDizzle's been on a bit of an emotional journey over the last few weeks, James. He's been tuning into all the shows. He's an emotional wreck like so many of us. And I think he was down and out. And every now and again, the club really tests your mental resilience. But he's back in the game. Good evening to Lee. Good evening to DJ D10. Dave's here as well. Dave has very kindly gifted 5 channel memberships. Dave, thank you so much. He's a Patreon member, a channel member. Warm welcome to all of those following. And a warm welcome to all of you guys tuning in as well. Hundreds of you live in the stream already here on YouTube. If you enjoy the content and you're a first timer, please do, of course, hit subscribe and get involved in the chat, because we will get through as many of the chat as possible. Tonight, James, we're going to talk about a little bit about yesterday's game, obviously. But we're going to talk about Max, because I don't know what we are seeing at the moment. I haven't got the words to describe it. And look, it's early days in his career. He hasn't achieved anything yet, but we've been talking about him as a fan base since pre-season last summer. There were glimpses of his just raw talent, and he's a cameo appearance yesterday off the bench, which was mesmerizing. As Yembele says, a spectacular weekend of football. Michael says this weekend is history defining. Bottle it. If only I could just bottle it up. Next 3 games, says Jonathan, are all non-EPL. What a win yesterday. So needed. The Emirates was rocking that Piero tackle. And yeah, James, tell us about the experience. I mean, you're obviously, you live outside London. I know you don't get to as many games as you'd like to. You were down there yesterday with your missus, her first game at the Emirates. What was the experience like? And what was the feeling, I guess, at the full-time whistle?
Yeah, well, the first thing I said is don't expect every game to be like this. Because
those are the standards, James. It's only downhill from here.
This is what I'm saying. I was like, but it really was one of those moments again, and the emotions I said I felt at the time came from, you felt like this fortunate to be in that position to watch that happen. And I know Rohan, friend of the channel, was sat in the North Bank on the corner, right in front of the celebrations, and I didn't see half the celebration. As I say, I was jumping up and down in a bunch of people, and I can't put myself into words very well today, because it just was an experience that it would take a long time for me to be able to top this, and I'm very grateful to be able to go to games, and if there are any more games, I am also fortunate to be going to Leverkusen on Tuesday. So if that is anywhere near as good, I will be very excited. But yeah, what a moment. Also, people are forgetting the Gyökeres as well. That was special. And then the Max, just everyone forgot about Gyökeres. But yeah, I was there in the stands doing this as always.
I was doing it full time when they were doing that sort of lap of appreciation, and I'm telling you, he looked at me and he acknowledged me, middle-aged unks standing on his chair, giving it the victor. Oh, it was beautiful. Out of Arsenal, welcome to the show. Says, now I love the latte firm, FK Hammers, till the fogging wheels fall off. Mez, you and I, from day one behind the gaffer, and we are going to enjoy it when it comes through. 610 Vega says, I'm starting to actually believe, always hoped, but really think this is it now. So many people feeling exactly like that. I'm still emotional, says Hassa. So this Sunday latte firm is just perfect. Right, let's tuck into the slides. First of all, just a quick reminder to people that you can find Latte Firm now on TikTok. I am beginning to learn about this platform. It's very unusual, but there are videos out there that you might want to watch. Check it out at latte.firm or Google TikTok Latte Firm. You can get me on there. I went live actually last night towards the end of the final whistle, and then stopped because my heart was just going to stop working, and just had to turn it off. And then, of course, we scored just a few seconds later. But do check it out. James, ladies and gents, Max Dowman. Tell me, James, what do you see with your eyes when you see this young pup?
I see one of the best players on the pitch every time he steps onto the pitch, and I genuinely mean that. The players look towards him. Often you'll see a young player in the pitch, and players are hesitant to pass the ball to them for obvious reasons. Players were passing the ball to him when he had a man on his back as a 16-year-old because they knew that he will always make the correct decision, that he will skin his man, he will take a touch inside, or he'll flick it around the corner. His intelligence for a youngster is absurd, and his natural ability, as so many have spoken about, we're not going to make the comparisons that John Terry has tried to make. It's unnecessary. But the way he dribbles with the ball is incredible. And that goal, I think people have just, rival fans especially, because they haven't watched it 100 times like us, have just passed it off as, he's just run through. He hasn't just run through. He's taken it past the man, got his body in the way, and then it's so subtle, but he takes a half step just to send it. And I think it's Mikalenko or Garner, I can't remember which one, flying past him. I think it's gone. It just flies past him, and then he's there for the open goal. And I loved how he was still scanning. He's still scanning because that's his education. And the sky's the limit for him. No need to rush him. I think Arteta has nurtured him well, but there's only so much you can keep a talent like this quiet because he can't go back to playing for the under-21s. He is too good for that level. Let's be serious.
I think he's absolutely now a first teamer, which is wild given he's got double maths and biology on Monday morning, but there we are. When you see him play, what is it that impresses you so much? I mean, we're talking about a boy that's 16 years old, 73 days, right? He is now the youngest Premier League goal scorer in Arsenal history, in Premier League history. But what is it about his game that really grabs your attention, James?
I think you see a lot of footballers who they're very mechanical in the way they play. They've been coached and their skill set has been really maximized through that coaching. He is just such a natural footballer. The way he receives the ball every time, you can ping it at him. And I've played with good footballers, and you see it to an extent at that level. But this is completely different. You can ping it at him in any way, and he will make a bad pass a good pass because he will find the solution. And there's a clip earlier this season against Port Vale, I think it is, where someone blitzes the ball at him on the wing, and he jumps and does a little, I don't know how you'd say it. It's not a Cruyff turn per se, but he's like chopped it mid-air and sent the through ball to the next player. And you can't teach that. That is just something that once you have a certain level of talent, you are able to experiment on the ball like that. Players who don't have that will never be able to do that. They won't even think and dare to do that. But he has such talent that he can basically do whatever he pleases. And there will be bumps along the way, but I think this is a very special footballer in the making. And this is not a one-off. He will be around for a long time.
He will indeed. 433 also sharing his emotions. I cried last night when Max scored. What have we got on our hands? And Caden Case, evening lads, thanks for the live stream. Already seeking out prime Arsenal merch for the parade. What are your memories of the last one? I mean, James, you must have been a child back in 2004. How old were you?
I was 4 years old. So my memories were starting primary school at the time.
Okay, well, I was at the peak of my sort of, late teens, early 20s. And I got to say, Yembele and I went on the parade. I was with my blue O2 shirt, of course, priceless. and London was just epic. It was epic. I remember trying to sort of run and follow the bus round, especially where the crowd started sort of sparing. And it was just a joyous day seeing Arsene Wenger and so many of the players, like with the trophy hanging off the bus at the top decker. I've got a feeling if it does happen this year, I don't think London's going to be ready. Jonathan said it. I mean, I don't know if you've seen
22 years. There are people from all over the world who want to come to this parade.
I think people might even sort of fly in for it. I don't know if you've seen the socials from yesterday. There were people dancing in the streets, like stopping traffic. London might come to a standstill. So it's going to be interesting. Jeet says, this is good. We could do with a break from the Premier League. Of course, every game feels like such high stress for Arsenal. It's actually nice to sort of focus and get away from that. A lot of love for Dave. Yembele is now a channel member. How did you manage to sneak one of them, Yem? That is cheeky. Cheeky.
Can I just say,
go on, James.
On the topic of a long time until our next game, we actually play before City next. So our game against Bournemouth is before City game. So if we win that, we would go 12 points clear for them to go away against Chelsea, which is, yeah.
Well, I'll see you and raise you. I saw something from Darren Arsenal today about a potential sequence of results that could mean we could go to the Etihad to win the league.
I saw that. If Palace gets rescheduled beforehand and they lost to Palace, here's the hoping. Hey, look, beggars can't be choosers. I'll take it however way.
We take it how we get it. But it would be nice to get it. Oh my God, I can't believe what we're saying. But it would be nice to win the league and to be able to celebrate it at the Emirates for the Burnley game, our last home game of the season. Because, of course, we are away at Palace and obviously only a couple of thousand Arsenal fans will be able to go. And if the title award is still on the line, then only those people will see it in the stadium. Big Mike, who says, woke up this morning with a spring in my step, couldn't stop smiling, walking down Camden Town. The best feeling of a win the day after is when your sleep first breaks. People that have been watching Latte Phone for a long time will know that I love saying this, but when you first break your sleep in the morning, your head's on the pillow and you think about what you're going to do, and then bang, you get a flashback of the game from the day before. If you know that feeling, man, honestly, you will never, ever beat that feeling. It just sets you up so nicely. Let's go, says Hero Down Under. Shami says, Max Dowman can't drive a car, but is driving us towards our first title in 22 years. I cannot believe that a 16-year-old has made my whole week. I mean, the sport is frankly absurd.
He can't even do interviews, by the way. I didn't realize that until I saw it online. Yeah,
he probably can't even. It probably doesn't even get changed in the dressing room because he's a child. We're going to come back to Max and talk about his touches yesterday and, of course, his goal. So we'll need to think about that. Hand of Arsenal says, let me give you some exclusive law. Friday, Trossard failed a late fitness test. Arteta selected Max to be included. The rest is history. Much love to you, FK and James, till the wheels fall off. Thank you for that. Didn't realize that. And listen, Max might not have played yesterday. We might not be talking about Max had, of course, that happened. It's funny how one door closes and another door opens. Till the wheels fall off, says Hassa. Let's talk about Victor Gyökeres because, of course, he broke the deadlock. And the build up to this, James, 88 minutes on the clock. Arsenal fans, I mean, me in particular, I can only talk about myself. I was clock watching. I was looking over at the bench in a panic. I was biting my nails. I was wondering, what the narrative is going to be after the game, assuming that the game was going to be 0-0. I turned to Wally and I did say that if we're going to win, it's going to be a late winner and it's going to be a perfect dagger to City. But I was losing hope as the game went on. And, we had chances, but we didn't really have any big clear-cut chances. Like, not like a one-on-one versus Pickford, or Pickford didn't have to make any absolutely outstanding saves until we'd broken the deadlock and Martinelli, I think, went close. But when Dowman came on, we'll talk about him later, but the cross into the box, Pickford comes out, and I think he gets a touch to it, gets a claw to it. The ball just falls into the path of Piero Hincapié, who was outstanding off the bench. The ball rolls into Victor Gyökeres' path, and let's just analyze. Gyökeres' goal yesterday, James, was a masterclass of striker theory in action.
Yeah.
The pre-shot micro adjustment of his body and his center of mass, pure biomechanical poetry in motion. We're just blessed to have watched such a masterclass in spatial occupational dynamics. And the goal, lead us to number 14, my number 14. Of course, I'm joking. But what a crossbar goal.
But you have to be in the right place at the right time.
You
And
do.
and we can joke, but we've had plenty of false nines in that position in recent years who might not have been there. If Jesus was on the pitch instead of Gyökeres, he might not have been there. And who knows? But Gyökeres was there, and he blasted it in. And this is what we signed him for. And I'm so happy for him. And he's now scored 16 goals this season. So
Has he really?
quietly, yeah,
Has he
quietly.
really?
12 in the league, I think, and 16 in all comps. No, that does that sound right? 12 in the league, 16 in all comps. I think so.
It sounds generous. Chan says, "Oi, oi." Welcome to you, Chan.
Someone's got to fact check that for me. But yeah, he did it, and I thought that was the game winner, as we said.
Indeed.
And I think what is so funny about all of this was Max Dowman on the celebration. He tried to kill it. I don't know if you've seen this.
Sort of
Dowman
strangling him.
grabs him by the neck, and
Victor Gyökeres is a big boy, and like Max has like jumped on his back and sort of strangled him from behind. It was very, very amusing. But what a celebration! And in that moment, I mean, you're North Bank upper yesterday, and I
was club level actually.
I know you were. I didn't know if you wanted that to be revealed. But James, of course, ladies and gents, was club level yesterday. That's how he rolls. Not with us peasants, but you were just slightly sort of above. I mean, that must have been. I mean, you must have obviously got carried away in the moment, but the scenes. I mean, I've been watching the footage from yesterday pretty much all day. Any opportunity I've had, sort of, we went out for Mother's Day, went into Central London. I was just like, "What are you doing on your phone?" Don't mind me, just text him, mum. I was like watching Max Dowman, and the crowd, the scenes, the jubilation was unreal.
It was the moment that it hits Hincapié, because I thought, right. He's crossed it, and then Pickford. I didn't need to go for it. I don't feel like. I think Pickford kind of put it on Hincapié's lap, but yeah, it just drops to Gyökeres' feet, and then in that moment, there's the, and then everyone goes wild. And yeah, again, one of those where I can't remember exactly what happened in the aftermath. I was every which way, but incredible scenes, and yeah. Then after that, still there was nervousness, because then straight away the board goes up, for which 2 minutes earlier we were hoping for was going to be a long time. Now we're thinking, please be 2 minutes, 6 minutes on the board, and we're going, okay. But backs to the wall Arsenal, Hincapié, Gabriel, some of the headers Gabriel was winning. We did a long throw into the box, and I felt so safe, because this guy, his vertical leap is about 7 foot. It's ridiculous. And yeah, there was the Hincapié moment where he, I think he blocks it, and then the ball squirts out, and then he just crunches his man.
Yeah.
And
and the celebration after that crunch, like that is the dog in him. That is the South American. That is the one, that will to just like. He was just buzzing, absolutely buzzing. Quick shout out to Lower North Bank, who is Chance. He says, "FK, I'm shooting the Burnley game." Chan, of course, works on a match day at Arsenal Football Club. Potential biblical shots incoming in the North Bank. Listen, Chance, I ain't gonna lie. If we are to do it, and if it is against Burnley, I've been talking to Red Action already today. I will be in that centre circle of that pitch after the full-time whistle. I promise you. Ladies and gents, if we win the league title and we have won it that day at the Emirates, I am storming that pitch. And if my season ticket gets revoked, what a way to go. That is what is happening. I promise you, I will be on that pitch.
I don't believe you will be the only one, FK.
Of course, but I will be there. I will go straight for Mikel. I will just I will cry that day. He says, we're going to shut London down. O'Malley's coming in from Atlanta for the trophy parade. If it happens when needed, half of Asia would come. I remember a food fight near the Islington Town Hall after the last Premier League trophy parade. That might be me and Yembele, to be fair. D-Day Spring says, good evening, everyone. Welcome to all of you. Thank you so much for keeping the chat active. There are hundreds of you watching live. If you're enjoying the content, please do, of course, drop us a subscribe. Let's talk about his touches. And I'll go first here, James. When I see Max Dowman, obviously, I find him very exciting, and it's almost a bit of the unknown because he's a Hale M boy and he's an academy product, and there's all of that sort of good stuff. But this kid is electric. and the ball comes to him. Like you said, the balls are being sort of floated to him, passed to him, drilled to him, twatted to him. His first touch is unbelievable, and it's almost like players receive the ball on the half turn, like he's receiving the ball like mid acceleration and whatever he's doing, and yet it just sticks to him like glue. And his cushioning of the ball when he's dribbling, his sort of ball manipulation, ball control is just mesmerizing. Inside of his foot, outside of his foot, drops a shoulder, left, right, goes inside sort of lanes, half spaces, plays out on the touchline. Like you can see some of the touches there, courtesy of our partners Opta. And everything he does is with a purpose. Everything he does is with a direct, aggressive sort of, I'm going towards the goal. I'm going to make things happen. And he's so intelligent. 16 years old, man. I mean, it was a brilliant cameo. And James, just another sort of thing that we talked about in the match reaction yesterday, or that I talked to the match reaction yesterday. It was brave of Mikel to play this boy with 15-ish minutes to go against the most inform away team, second to Arsenal, since January. And the pressure, the weight of that sort of expectation that Max would have had coming on, I can't comprehend that. Like, as a kid, maybe some would say he's fearless because he's not even thinking about that. But like, just stop for a moment to reflect. Like, mate, we're 31 games into the Premier League season, going for a first league title in 22 years, a chance to go 10 points temporarily clear of Manchester City. And here we are at home struggling against an Everton team who are playing this horrendous sort of low block, and we weren't really being so creative. And he comes on and he completely changes it. I mean, the audacity of this boy.
I mean, one thing that speaks for itself is he made 28 touches in total in 20 minutes of football.
It's wild, isn't it?
That shows just how much the team trusts this boy. That shows that there is this sense that get the ball to him because magic will happen. And for that to be the case at 16 years old, you have Martinelli on the left side. I will look in a second, but I'm curious as to how many touches Martinelli would have made in the same amount of time, because my assumption is nowhere near as many, because players Eze and Rice look up in midfield and think we need to get the ball to that guy because he's going to make something happen. And that's exactly what happened twice. And it wasn't, I know some rival fans are saying, oh, it's just a goal. But it wasn't just the goal. It's everything else. And it's a culmination. The goal is only the thing that's put his name in the headlines. This has been coming. We've seen glimpses and we've seen moments. And it's been like, I've said before, I'm surprised he hasn't scored yet, because the game in the FA Cup, he had a few half chances and he could have scored. And yeah, it was just beautiful. And yeah, the way he's in the history books now, we've got Champions League history books to make, and we've got national team history books to make also.
We do indeed. T. Jones, welcome to the show. I'm about 10 minutes behind, he says, but the tears of gratitude I've cried over the last 24 hours have been so great. The journey of following this team with my dad in the last 6 years has been just magic. T. Jones, that's a really wholesome message, man. And I hope you and your father, the journey that we've been on, are rewarded with what we are all craving, the biggest trophies at the end of the season. We've had a super chat, and it is from Mio Bertilson, who says, should we stick with this lineup? I think so. James, would you, I mean, should Max maybe start the next game? I can't believe I'm saying that. Should he start the next game? Should he play against Leverkusen?
I don't think so. I don't think there's any need to start him. If push comes to shove, you can bring him on earlier than we did against Everton. But no, I don't think there's any need to start him. I would start the same lineup. I thought Madueke was unlucky to be hooked. I thought he was better than Saka. But I think one eye was on the fact that Saka was going to come inside anyway. And had Madueke stayed on, he wouldn't have been able to play that role. Yeah, I like the dynamics of that attack. It'll be interesting to see if Gyökeres or Havertz starts. I think it'll be Gyökeres just on the basis of rotation, and then Havertz in the Carabao final.
Yeah.
But I'd start with an unchanged lineup apart from Timber, who is likely injured, and I guess Mosquera is comes straight in, who was decent again. Doesn't offer the most in an attacking sense, but he fills me with confidence, I would say still.
He does, but just on the Mosquera thing, and I don't want to nitpick. I don't want to be that one fan that's all negative Nancy when when things are so wonderful for us. But I do think with Mosquera, he hasn't been found out yet, but there will be a moment. He lives on the edge, that boy. And I think at any time he's either gonna be a little bit clumsy or make a late and rash decision because he's too emotional, too energetic, too young. I pray to God it doesn't come in the cup final, but he's a fantastic player. Don't get me wrong. Fine player. But I just feel he's a bit raw. And Timber's
think
rated 10 out of 10.
I think it comes from the fact that he's probably so used to being so physically dominant that he can be half a step not sharp enough
Maybe.
and
Yeah.
just catch up. And there have been games recently, especially the Wigan game. Was it Wigan? Am I going mad? Who did we play in the FA Cup?
Brighton. Oh, yeah, it was Mansfield.
Sorry, Mansfield, not Wigan. I'm going mad. Where he was just half a step slow, and the guy got past him, and he was like, "Oh shit." So yeah, but when he's on it, I have no worries with him. I'd rather Timber be fit, but I don't think he will, and it will be close for the Carabao final, and it'll be interesting to see if he goes on international break.
Well, thank you, Mayo Bertilson, for the kind contribution to the channel. Really appreciated it. Niall, thank you also for your generous donation. Says, I'm quite a pessimistic supporter at times, but yesterday, for the first time in 22 plus years of supporting, this title feels truly tangible. Lots of love, FK and James. I'm going to get James's thoughts on the title race towards the very end, ladies and gents. Look, the short story of the goal. We've talked about his touch. We've talked about what he does on the ball. The corner. I think you alluded to it earlier on in the show, James, where you sort of said the 6 minutes went up. The Piero Hincapié crunching tackle. The ball goes out. It's a corner ball. Mikel Arteta's actually pacing at that point in the 6-yard box. And I don't know if you've seen the sort of, not bench cam, because I don't think that's out yet, but he's sort of pushing Nico Jova as a bit of an outlet to say, get on, like talk to them, do something. And everyone in the crowd, I mean, at that point, my heart was in my mouth, asthma pump and blood pressure pumps at the ready. Like, we're all just praying for get it away, Arsenal. And I see Jordan Pickford in his green kit running into the box. And I'm like, no, this is not the way to happen. But talk me through your sort of watching this unfold as the ball sort of his head looped away by Martinelli, and Max obviously cushions it down with his head, and the rest is glorious.
Well, my initial thought, which is why he's a professional footballer and I'm not, was shoot. The ball comes to him, Pickford's out of goal, and he's on the halfway line. I'm thinking shoot into the empty net. But he just has the composure first to ride the challenge from Mykolenko, because you can see in that first clip, Mykolenko's got his arm right around his neck. But he gets through that, and Mykolenko, look at his face after. And then earlier I said was it Garner or Mykolenko? It wasn't. It was Dewsbury Hall, so I stand corrected. I've been focused on the Arsenal players and not Dewsbury Hall this whole time. And again, just to have that peace of mind in that moment to take a half step, send him on the floor, and then that I cannot imagine the feeling he must have felt when he looked up and he's looking to the side and he realizes he's going to score, but he has a few seconds until he needs to pass the ball into the net. And that must have been cathartic, just this feeling of like, I'm getting carried towards the goal. And then, passes it into the open net. And I loved this celebration, by the way. I've spoken to some friends about, I'm so glad he didn't try and do anything. No iconic celebration, no cold moment. He just run to the corner flag, kicked it. Everyone's piled on him. Havertz has grabbed someone's glasses from the crowd. I don't know if you've seen this.
I did not see that.
Niche clip going around. Havertz has grabbed someone's glasses and waving them about in the celebrations. And then after, finds the guy, gives it and passes it to him. Two final small nuance points I want to make here. First of all, Martinelli, you can see his face in the first clip. Ran every step of the way alongside Dowman. Didn't try and interfere, but screened the defender who was sprinting back his hardest to get it. And that's subtle, and the defender wasn't going to get there anyway. But I think it just typifies the way this team plays. They play for each other, and they will do everything they can to try and get those margins. And finally, a very rare compliment to the referee who didn't blow the whistle because it was past the 96th minute. And can you imagine if he blew it as the ball had dropped? So yeah, thankfully he waited an extra 30 seconds for Max to go through, score the goal. And then yeah, the final whistle after that was hilarious because Arsenal took ages to get back to the centre circle. But yeah, I don't think Everton were keen to carry on.
Yeah, listen, praise for Madley is a bit too much for me. I thought Everton got a lot of decisions, but you're right, actually. Had the ref blown the whistle in that clearance, we would have been robbed of the most glorious moment. And just on Max's celebration, I was going to say, you grow up and you dream your whole life of if you were to score for your football club, what you would do in that moment. But the kid's a kid and he's probably not even had time to think about it. But his celebration was so raw and it was so wholesome. It was almost Bournemouth, Reece Nelson, like the subs, the squad, the coaching staff were all on the pitch running towards the sort of corner flag. And we've taken pelters for it all day, by the way. Only Arsenal celebrate like that, blah, blah, blah. Well, fuck you. I absolutely love to see shit like that. And the way they all lost it with the fans, I saw Saliba's face looking up at the face. It was just magical. Those are the moments, man. You got to cherish them. You got to love them. By the way, ladies and gents, boys and girls, what that does mean is that it was a record-breaking performance for Max Dowman. He is the youngest Premier League goal scorer of all time, overtaking James Vaughan, who, of course, was a former Everton player. James Milner, also formerly of Everton, but he didn't do it whilst he was there. Wayne Rooney did do it against us at 16 years and 360 days.
Moyes was there for Dowman and Rooney, if you saw that.
Is that right? Yeah, well, of course, he would have been there for Rooney. Of course. Yeah. And he does overtake Cesc Fabregas's record for Arsenal, which I know will please some Arsenal fans. Let's talk about some key moments. Sasha in the chat just asked a moment ago saying, I fully expected a slide dedicated to Calafiori's breakdancing save. Well, here's half a slide, right? We'll talk about the gaffer in just a second. I mean, this was absurd, wasn't it? And I don't know why the Gabriel picture is there, but this is courtesy of now_Arsenal. I think the point here was that we've got two warriors at the back, but look at the picture on the right in the middle, if you like. Calafiori is on the floor and somehow just puts his massive right leg out and blocks a shot that I thought was destined for the net.
Yeah, someone said it's all the Pilates he's been doing. Yeah, and again, as I say, it just typifies his team. Every single player has contributed in this squad, and yeah, he has to fight for his position because Hincapié has been so good, and he was excellent. And yeah, I didn't realize at the time. I didn't see it when I was watching the game. I thought Raya had saved it, and then I see on Twitter that everyone's making a huge deal about this block, and I watch it in slow motion. I'm like, what on earth? Like, yeah, it's absurd, and that would have put them to 1-0 up. So these are the margins, these are the moments that win you football games and titles. And by the way, that photo of Arteta on the right is so funny.
It's so good, isn't it? I know my mouse is hovering. I'm actually hovering over the chat. Rory says, bro's been hitting the worm on the dance floor. O'Malley says, Calafiori looks like he's breakdancing. Was absolutely amazing, honestly. And we pride ourselves on clean sheets, says Jonathan. Gabriel is my favourite Arsenal player. Yes, listen, the image is actually not from yesterday. I think the point that now Arsenal was trying to make was that we've got two warriors at the back, and it was a scorpion block from Calafiori. Calafilthy. I want to talk about the gaffer, James, just very quickly before we talk about Saka and then finish on the title race. On 81 minutes, Mikel Arteta takes his coat off and puts it on the seat. And it was at that moment that I turned to Wally and said, we got a goal here. Shit's about to get real. I mean, we talked about the courage that Mikel shows to put Dowman on. I mean, he could have played someone like Gabriel Jesus. He could have picked maybe one or two other players, but he picked Dowman. Just thoughts on the gaffer generally. I mean, we're still going strong in all four competitions. 9 points clear now because Manchester City slipped up yesterday. He's been, I think, criticised a lot, even from some Arsenal fans, about style of play and antics and the sort of mindset that we have and our approach to this season's campaign. Where are you with it all?
I just think we can have the conversations at the end of the season, but I think people need to appreciate this is a special manager. I know there's this talk about 6 years, no trophies. It is not normal the way he has taken us from 8th place and in stagnation, and if anything, on the decline, with overage players, players who were being paid too much. There was people weren't playing for the badge. The fans felt disconnected. Every single year, year on year, not everything has been perfect, but where we've come to where we are now, and the fact that we are in March, mid-March, and still talking about a quadruple charge, being 9 points clear, top of the Premier League, having the chance to go into the Champions League quarterfinals if we win our game at home, being in the Carabao Cup final, going to Wembley on Sunday, and having an FA Cup, is it quarterfinal we've got now?
Yep.
How can you complain? Look where we've come from. Look where we are now. And yeah, sure. I think I want to say this to people. I'm sure Arteta himself would like the football to be prettier at times. But if this is what wins us games, and if this is what the league demands, because no team nowadays is playing tiki-taka football, Everton won't allow you to it. No team is allowing you to do that. Teams press you man to man, as he mentioned in a press conference recently. This man knows how to win games of football, and we have done that. I think, I think I'm right in saying now we've won more games in all competitions this season than we did in the Invincibles winning season, despite having several games to go. And that is a crazy stats to say. So appreciate what we have, and yeah, we'll have conversations at the end of the season, and I'll talk to you at the parade about it.
Well, I'll tell you about another crazy stat. We have actually only lost 3 games in all competitions this season. We're close to 50 games in all competitions, which is absolutely remarkable. And Shik's saying, mate, our season used to be over in Feb. Arteta has changed our lives. And I'll rate the gaffer for those Adidas socks under his suit trousers. There we are. Let's talk about Bukayo Saka. This not to be such a positive slide, but again, if you're new to Latte Firm, you will know that I am not sensational. I'm not throwing my toys out the pram. I'm not critical of our players on the whole. But I just wanted to ask the question, James. We talked about this in the match. I talked about this in the match reaction video on last night. And I talked about this with Wayne and Yem on Friday night's Late Night Lounge. It's been a difficult season for Bukayo. And if you cast your mind back to January last year, a horrific injury away at Selhurst, 6 months out, and he's sort of come back and he's had moments this season. His numbers are about half of where he normally is in terms of output, goals and assists. And as you can see, courtesy of Transfermarkt, you can see that he's had 40 games and not yet in double-digit goals nor in double-digit assists. It's a bit of a harsh question to ask, but should we be concerned maybe about Bukayo Saka's output at the moment? And if so, do you see it turning around? Chat, let me know as well what you think on Bukayo. Look, we know we love him. He's carried us. He's our star boy. I will never have a bad word said about him. But I'm a little bit anxious about his output this season.
Yeah, his output hasn't been good. It hasn't been good this season, and I think I'm not concerned because I think Saka, I think the problem is the demands for a winger in this league have changed. Salah isn't the free scoring winger he used to be. You have Doku, who hasn't scored in 3 months. There are no wingers in this league who are absolutely thriving. It is an incredibly tough league for wingers because you don't get the space you used to. He's not going to find so many chances on goal. I still think his performance levels have been good for the most part. Recently, he's been poor, I do admit, but I think for the most part, his performance levels, I don't believe in average ratings per se, but I looked earlier and he's got the 6th highest average rating for the algorithm on FOTMob for all players in the Premier League this season. So his performance levels have still been good, even if the output isn't there. He creates chances, he makes dribbles. It's just not what we're used to seeing with Saka. So yes, the level isn't as good as we need it to be, but I'm not worried yet. And I think it's just an adjustment in the way we need to see him. I think it's very possible that he will move centrally sooner than we think. I just think now, as a winger, you have to have that explosive pace. I think you look at Madueke when he comes on instead of Saka, and every time he blitzes his man on the outside. And Saka still does it occasionally, but he does it through sharpness of mind, not through his body. And I think he still has such technical quality and such intelligence that he needs to be in this team. But whether that is always on the right wing, it depends on the opposition for me. And look, we're blessed to be in a position where we're not relying on him. 2 seasons ago, Saka having this rut in form, we would be in a terrible place. He's had this rut in form, and the rest of the team is still thriving. So Erdegaard is still to come back. Havertz has barely been in the team, but even still, I think we just need to understand what we're expecting in the circumstances, should I say, of this Premier League.
It's amazing, isn't it? O'Malley says he looked lively yesterday, and M Star Fracture says he's been awful. So look, Arsenal fans are completely entitled to their opinions. I will never, of course, turn on him, and I'm not suggesting that M Star Fracture is turning on him. But it's been a difficult one. And let's put things into perspective. Danny says 16 goals and assists is not bad at all. No, it's not at all. However, we are used to the most incredible levels of output from this boy. And we just want it to be back at those levels again. And whether it's a case of him being explosive, not being explosive, I think Saka's absolutely got the quality in him to drag us through games. And there are some massive games coming up now. And as M Star Fracture says, he's on 300k a week. He is our talisman, biggest contracts now at the club. One of the leaders at the club, he has to deliver. O'Malley says, let him show up in the Champions League is what I ask. Kenny says, FK, form is temporary, class is permanent. This guy is nursing something he can't run for now. And that's where Arteta needs to be really careful. And it's probably why the club went out and got Madueke, who has been really promising. Let's wrap up the show, James. Let's go on to the home straight. Let's talk about the title race. A couple of questions I want to ask you about today's football and the Chelsea huddle that we saw yesterday, but more on that shortly. This is the league table, ladies and gents, boys and girls. As you can see, as Tesco's have just turned up at my house, no doubt my groceries will be all over the floor because that's what my wife does. She opens the door, just empties the crates all over the hallway, and all the food will be there. Wonderful. Yeah, Tesco's. Right, sorry, distraction. Arsenal, 31 games played, 39 goal difference, 70 points on the board. This courtesy of PremierLeague.com. Manchester City, 30 games played, and they have 61 points. So a 9-point gap, but we are 7 goals better off, James. And that is, for me, equivalent to a point. So if we can maintain that buffer, that is big for us. The fixtures, as you can see, courtesy of Bleacher Report, is on the right-hand side. Arsenal play Bournemouth next. They are, I think, on the longest unbeaten run in the Premier League, Bournemouth at the moment, of course, as they face Arsenal. That is, of course, at the Emirates. We then go away to the Etihad on the 19th of April, home to Newcastle, Fulham, away to West Ham, home to Burnley, and then away to Palace. In fact, after the City game, we are in London for the rest of the season, subject to qualification in the Champions League, which is pretty impressive. City, on the other hand, like James said earlier, they go away to Chelsea, and then, of course, they play us. And they've got some tricky games. Burnley away in the relegation dogfight. Everton away. Brentford, who, okay, at home, fair enough. Bournemouth away. You're not going to want to go to Bournemouth. I mean, what's the question here, James? What are your thoughts on the title race? Are we going to have a parade? Are you looking at those fixtures thinking, we've got this and we're going to nail this fairly soon?
I believe we will, but it's not done. Because just to put into some quick context, if City win their game in hand, they go 6 points behind us. And if they beat us at the Etihad, they go 3 points behind us. So while we're absolutely in the driving seat, let's not be stupid. Because all it takes is for us to lose against Bournemouth and for them to beat Chelsea. And then all of a sudden the pressure's hugely back on again. So yeah, this team has the experience now in title races to understand this. They aren't the same team we were in 22-23, where it was that naive excitement. This is a team very, very focused and very, very locked in, including the manager now. That said, as I said earlier, we play Bournemouth at home before they play Chelsea away, and Chelsea need to win. Chelsea absolutely need to win that because they've got a Champions League to qualify for. And it really could be done. If they drop any points and we take all 3 points, then it's done for me. So City are in such a precarious position that they can't afford to drop any points. And if they don't beat us at the Etihad, then it's also done. So keep doing what we're doing, but we are so nearly there.
I remember seasons a long time ago when you'd have 2 or 3 games in different competitions in the space of a week, 10 days. And you win all of them and you're buzzing, you're flying. You lose all of them and you're out of 3 competitions in the space of a week. And if you think about City, drew at home to Forest, pumped away at Madrid, drew to West Ham yesterday, likely to be edged out this week. Then it's the League Cup final, and if we can deliver a knockout blow in that game, by hook or by crook, if it's one in the 90, if it's one on penalties, don't care. If we win that, that's them out of 3 potential competitions in the space of a few days. Will they have the mindset to then go to Chelsea if we are 12 points ahead, like you say, against Bournemouth? Any slip up at that point, and they don't look like the same City. You see Erling Haaland's frustration last night. Rodri absolutely, gassed towards the end. Bernardo Silva hasn't quite still got it yet. They haven't got that sort of defensive aura at the back where he's been great, but he's not the caliber of the prime defenders that they've had over the years in title winning teams. I mean, now is our chance, James. How is your metal? How big are your bollocks, basically, Arsenal? Come on. We have the most glorious chance. Look, we're going to have plenty of time over the next few weeks to talk about games as they come. And, maybe with about 6 games to go, we'll start doing these sort of mental arithmetic as to when it might be won or whatever. But I do want to finish with a couple of questions. Obviously, today's results in the Premier League. Unfortunately, Liverpool had one fucking job, the wankers, and they couldn't do it. Palace drew at home to Leeds 0-0. Manchester United enjoying what a resurgence they're enjoying under Carrick. 3-1 winners against Unai Emery's Aston Villa. Forest drawing to Fulham, unfortunately. I really thought Forest might get the 3 points to crank up the pressure before the game against Spurs next week. And Spurs getting out of jail with a goal from Richarlison at Anfield. And Liverpool now have it all to do in the Champions League. I mean, first of all, just your thoughts on Spurs, and second of all, did you see the huddle yesterday at Stamford Bridge where Anthony Taylor was in the middle of it all? In fact, let's not even talk about Spurs. We were hoping they'd get pumped. They didn't get pumped. Fuck them. What did you think of the huddle yesterday at Stamford Bridge?
Yeah, Paul. It was bizarre.
It was mental. I've never seen it.
I've only seen pictures of it. I haven't seen much.
Oh, you need to watch the video. James,
how it happened.
I'm really sorry to interrupt. You need to watch the video. You'll basically see Cole Palmer, and you can just imagine what his facial expression is along the lines of, "Ref, what the fuck are you doing here?" And the ref, Anthony Taylor's, you can tell he's a little bit embarrassed, but he doesn't quite know how to get out because they've formed the proper circle around him and they're doing the team talk. Reece James or whoever it is going at it. And he's trying not to make any eye contact. And it's just the most bizarre thing I've ever seen. You have to watch the footage. But
did you see what Rosenior said about it?
Yeah, well, tell us, LinkedIn Liam, what did he have to say about it?
Well, I saw that he said they wanted to respect the ball and they were going to complain to PGML about it. Yeah. Who knows with him? But yeah, I think when the results aren't going your way, you can act like that internally, externally, especially at Chelsea Football Club, who have a very short temper for these kind of things. Probably keep that to yourself, because I think they're a few bad results away from Chelsea fans really turning on him. And yeah, it's just an insane picture that's come out of that.
Oh, was it Paul Tierney? I thought it was Anthony Taylor.
It was Paul Tierney.
They all look the bloody same to me. These bloody refs. It was Paul Tierney. Palmer gave the ref a hug too. I mean, that's just wild, isn't it? Kenny says FK Chelsea were using the huddle to beg for no red card. Indeed. And Abdul thought it was AI. Honestly, mate, it's so batshit that, yeah, it did look like AI. Karen says Cole hugged him. There we go. Right. I think we're going to leave it there, James. What a fun show it's been tonight to just reflect on yesterday. What a glorious feeling it is to be an Arsenal fan at the moment. 9 points clear. All eyes on the prize. There is light at the end of this long, deep, dark tunnel, and it's just fabulous to be a part of it all. James, quickly, Leverkusen, confident? You're coming down to the Emirates on that as well. Do you reckon we're going to get through?
Yeah, I think so. I think, I don't know, the atmosphere will be good, I'm going to say. And I think they played... They were very defensive at home. I think people don't credit the fact that we weren't good, but they were very defensively solid. If they try and play against that like that at the Emirates, they're going to get eaten alive, and I think they're going to get eaten alive regardless. The pressure is going to be too much, I think we'll score once in the first half in the 40th minute, and then once in the 70th minute or so to win the game 2-0. Happy as Larry going into the final, while City suffer a miserable game against Real Madrid. They'll probably win, but they won't get through. So we'll be high spirits and they will be down in the dumps, just as we like.
Well, let's hope you are right. Ladies and gents, boys and girls, we're going to leave it there. We will be back tomorrow night with Adam Keys of the Arsenal Therapy to look forward to the Leverkusen game on Tuesday. Then, of course, on Tuesday night, we'll be back with the match reaction. And then in the week, we'll probably do a roundup of the Champions League games. And then, of course, we head towards the weekend, cup final weekend for Arsenal. First of 4 domestic honours that are on the table. We have a chance to do the funniest thing and knock City out of hopefully yet another competition by the end of the week. James, thank you. It's been a real pleasure. Look after yourself. Enjoy tomorrow. If anybody wants to follow James, he is available at AFCJXMES. You got any content coming out soon? You doing any podcasts? Any guesting anywhere else?
Yeah, I do the occasional TDK plus, but none as fun as with yourself. People who don't know, after certain games that I enjoy very much, I beg Faisal to get me on the podcast. And yes,
well, I'm never going to turn you down, man. You got an open invite. You know this. And honestly, it's just a pleasure to be able to talk to you and a pleasure to be able to talk and engage with this wonderful community that we have. Thank you so much for all of our Patreon members, YouTube channel members. Really, really grateful for your support, of course. The financial support goes a long way. The super chats, very, very grateful for that. Great community over at Patreon. Shout out to Leon and to Paul, who picked up a couple of tickets for the Everton game in the Patreon chat and were with me at the Emirates yesterday. If you're listening on audio platforms, Apple and Spotify, please do leave a kind review, get involved, subscribe, and all that sort of stuff there. And we'll see you tomorrow for the Daily Grind, looking ahead to Bayer Leverkusen as the Arsenal are 9 points clear, and we are marching, hopefully, to our first Premier League title in more than 20 years. Take care. Good evening. Bye for now.